are Polaris. And this is our HTC project, Beyond Bars. This is Dennis. Dennis did not complete his primary education. He lived paycheck to paycheck and is responsible for 2 children and a common law wife. Every morning, he wakes up to a cell with 60 others in it. Every morning at 10, his guards take him and a few others for breakfast, which consists of 6 slices of bread and some water. Dennis is going to make the most of this, since he cannot be sure when he'll be fed again. He spends most of his time waiting for a chance to use the phone to call his friends and relatives. Between 3 and 6, he can be expected to be taken back to his cell and maybe let out the next day. The follow-up, we'll turn you to our warden.
Thank you, Hugh. So our proposition is to aid prison rehabilitation through the use in developing countries through the use of VR. Some of the problems that developing countries face are high levels of unemployment and poverty, and prisoners often face violence and torture from prison guards and wardens. There's also issues with high levels of recidivism. So when a prisoner comes out of prison, because they find it difficult to reintegrate into the society, they end up committing more crimes and then get thrown back into jail, and then the cycle continues. Unlike advanced countries where there's easier access to means of communication and frequent visits from family, prisoners in developing countries, due to prison management issues and overcrowding, do not have access to such luxuries or such privileges. So our solution is to integrate virtual reality technology to teach the prisoners vocational education, so that when they come out, they would have a skill which they can use to be more productive and earn an income when they're released. And also to shift the mentality of the prison system from being about punishment to rehabilitation, as well as allow the prisoners to maintain a virtual presence with their family while they're in prison. So in coming up with this idea, we looked at the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and some of the goals that we believe this solution is helping to solve are reduction in poverty, good health and well-being, particularly in regards to mental health, as well as decent work and economic growth. It also helps with industry innovation and infrastructure, which is particularly important for a company like HTC because it's a forward-thinking company and it's innovative as well. It also helps with building more sustainable and self-reliant cities, and helps with making the justice system more peaceful, strong, and genuinely just. I'll now pass you on to our research and development analyst, Michael.
Thank you, Diabella. One of the trends across the global prison system is the rise in online education. Now more than ever, there's a need for rehabilitation for prisoners. For example, across Africa, they have launched initiatives to give education to the prisoners. For this reason, we have chosen to work in Rwanda, specifically the capital city of Kigali. Rwanda has a high level of tech adaptation. They also have the highest level of recidivism across the African continent. As number 13 out of 54 African countries, Rwanda has a high level of unemployment. There is a large market potential with Rwanda in terms of inmates. There are 61,000 prisoners in the Rwandan prison system, and their limit is only 57,000. Therefore, this works for our advantage. We based it off of 2 variables, a high and low growth in recidivism, as well as a fast and slow adaptation of technology. Based on the current trajectory of Rwanda, we assume that they will adopt the use of technology by 2030 in their prison system. I'll now give you back to Hugh, our case manager.
Okay, so to get a product like this off the ground, we determined that it needs 3 specific features. One was to include HTC trackers that can be placed on props that exist in the real world, so that they can then be transposed into the virtual world, so that the prisoners has the experience of both seeing what is happening as well as feeling the tools of the trade. We also need to include a communications platform that would allow the prisoner to be in communication with his family and friends, but through a secured and monitored connection, so that once he is finally let out, he feels that he has a continued obligation to the community at large. And all these factors put together allow for data gathering purposes for administrations, the guards and inspectors to continue to monitor the mental health and the process of the prisoner. And now we want to go through our product prototype. Here you can see that the prisoner has on the headset and has the option of communicating with his loved ones or practicing his skill set. Over here, he has the choice of different vocational courses. He wants to develop his carpentry skills, and he'll be taken to a list of products that he would be expected to know. And to go in further, he would, and in this case, he'd select a table, so we would know the different varieties and different styles of table that he needs to know once he is let out. And then the system would go through all the important and mundane steps that he would need to do in order to complete the final product. Our target for a product like this would be the government. From the head down, they are going to be our buyers. But we should always bear in mind that it's the prisoners who are going to be the users, so it needs to be comfortable in a context that they would best understand. And to talk further on that, I will pass it along to our peace officer, Asha.
Thank you. So our value proposition to the government is lower cost. And what I mean by lower cost is the government don't have to spend money recruiting teachers to come and teach this prisoners skills. This is a one-time cost, which they only have to worry about is maintenance. Second is economic growth. This is after the prisoners have already acquired their skills. So when they're out, they already have the skills. So all they need to do is get jobs or be themselves an entrepreneur, which in turn will generate income for the economy. Lastly is skilled prison labor. This is where the prisoners are going to utilize their skills. So if the government want to build, for example, a public schools, they don't need to outsource materials from another country. This can be done in the prison by these prisoners. With perspective of the prisoners, be a part of family lives. This is where they have connection with the outside world. So for example, usually you have a phone call in prison, but this time around with the VR, they can actually get to see loved ones who can't come to the prison and see them. The next one is from punishment to rehabilitation. This is where instead of stripping them of their liberty, they can actually come out and become better people. And lastly is mental stimulation. So instead of them not utilizing their brains, they can actually, with the skills that they're going to acquire, they can actually learn skills and knowledge, which would then have them get better activities and as well as use their brains. Our unique selling point is access to infinite resources, and this is when the prisoner doesn't have to think about missing a class or missing a task, because they have unlimited resources and they can come back and actually review all the steps. Lastly is maintaining virtual connection with family, and this is where memories are very important here. So for example, if the wife is giving birth or one of the kids are getting married, like they can actually see all these things. So I'll now pass on to our correction counselor. I will take over. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, our peace officer. Now the big question that you're asking is why? Why this proposal is going to work? So first of all, we have carried out a research about the prison as well as the AR&VR space. So we found first, so providing education, training, work isn't straightforward for helping the prisoners. However, doing it in a cost-effective way is not straightforward at all because it's expensive. Second, contact with the family while they are in the prison, it reduces the level of reoffending. Third, international law states that in prison should include the opportunities as well as because they need to get the skills, the capabilities to get successfully reintegrated in the real world. And lastly, giving opportunities to learn the new skills. So at the same time they are building the work experience in the prison in order to avoid that they go back to the crime. And finally, here we have a new and improved Dennis. He's Dennis. He's also holding his own wooden craft. They say that he's going to sell in the market. So now I have a question for you. So why don't you come with us to this journey to help more Dennis? This is the team, and thank you so much.